Welcome back to Casual EDH. My name is Chris, and today I'm going to bring up 12 Phyrexia All-Be-One set boosters. I will say that so far, my luck with this set has not been great. If you have not seen my completed booster pack openings, feel free to do so. I can't believe I did as badly as I did. Feel free to make fun of me below. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about these cards and just talk about anything that catches my fancy. I will say I love the art on these cards, like this Phyrexian showcase art that they have here. It's really nice. And I will say, I mean, there have been a few good cards in this set that I've hit off camera. So it's not all, let's see. I don't even know which card that is, but that's just an amazing looking art. Yeah, I've picked up a couple of good things off camera. So I do have some hope, but you know, it's been a little bit of a rough day. So the tableau completion here is kind of interesting for Commander. Let's go ahead and set that down here. So basically, it is a 2-mana artifact that has tap put an oil counter on it. It has tap add colorless, but only if you have 2 or more oil counters on it. And it has 1 in tap draw a card, but only active if you have 5 oil counters on it. So I can see in any kind of proliferate deck where basically you're just tapping it once to get the oil counter on it, and then you're just using proliferate to get it up to 5. Really good for Atraxa, obviously. Old Atraxa, not new Atraxa. But, I don't know. I mean, theoretically it takes 5-ish turns. I think even in a good condition you're getting like 3 turns to really get ramped up to the card draw. So, otherwise it's just kind of a hassle for a mana rock. So I don't know about using it all the time, but I do think there are specific decks that could use it pretty decently. Ixhel, that's the Commander deck face card, I believe. I did not get any of the Commander pre-con decks for this set yet. I usually do pick them up. I usually wait a couple months after the set comes out. They tend to be a little bit less expensive. Also, since I am opening up set boosters, and sometimes I'll open up collector's boosters, it's good to know what's already in the boosters, because sometimes I just won't end up needing anything from the Commander decks, but it's always nice to have them. I'm going to talk about Cankerbloom. I mean, I could talk about Tyvar, but I think I prefer to talk about Cankerbloom, because this is something that I could see people slotting into pretty much every green Commander deck, more realistically. It is 2 mana for a 3/2, which is pretty good. It is 1 sacrifice and choose 1 option. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or proliferate. So it works with proliferate decks, and also takes the place of like Thrashing Brontodon in other cases. I think it's a really solid common. This art for it's really nice, and I just don't see any reason why you wouldn't play it in a lot of Commander decks. It's very versatile. And everyone needs... And basically, everyone needs to have more interaction in their deck. If you think you have enough interaction in your deck, put 1 more card of interaction in your deck, because you probably need it. Oh, so the fun thing about the set boosters is when you see a normal card back, unless they have flip cards, like the Innistrad card sets did, this is basically guaranteed to be a list card. So we're going to find out what my list card is here in a minute. Oh, let me write that up for you. Ooh, Phyrexian Vindicator. I'll talk about him for a brief second. 5/5 for 4, flying. Basically the white version of Phyrexian Obliterator. He prevents damage that's dealt to him and then redirects it, which is kind of nice. I would prefer to do the opponent sacrifices cards equal to the damage dealt to Phyrexian Obliterator. That's easily breakable with Fight. But this is still a pretty good card. I don't see it like really breaking Commander. But I think you'll see it in a few fringe decks, and it's not terrible. I think you are more likely to see it in Standard or Modern, though. And Thopter Foundry for the list. Womp womp. Alright. Well, I'm glad we had that Phyrexian Vindicator to talk about. There's supposed to be some really juicy hits in the list slot here, and I just haven't seen them. That is a gold... what do they call this? These signature cards? I don't know if anyone actually collects those. I know some of them have some value, but it's not great. Again, I really like the art for these cards. Bone Picker Scourge. Which one are you? As long as opponent has 3 or more poison counters, it has Death Touch and Lifelink. Alright. It's It's one of those ones that once you want to put out poison counters on people. I don't know how I feel about Corrupted. I feel like if you're using Corrupted to get bonus effects on your cards, you're just kind of detracted from the fact that you're just trying to take an opponent out. So, I don't know how I feel about that yet. I think I'm going to need a few weeks of playing against Corrupted cards to see how I percolate how I feel on that one. Canker Bloom again. Mere Convert. Oh, Phyrexian Arena. So I'm going to just stop here for a second. Phyrexian Arena getting reprinted in a standard set is amazing, but I already have like 10 of the Phyrexian text ones, so this isn't a huge hit for me. It's also like, what, $2 now? Like a year or two ago, this was like $10-15, and now it's down to like $2. I would definitely hold on to them. Even if you're not using your decks, I would hold on to them because they're probably going to go back up in price in a little bit. Oh, see. Got another set card here. But, I mean, they're not really that exciting. Everyone knows the effect, and honestly, 3 mana to gain 1 card every turn, you really need to draw 3 additional cards off it, and sometimes games don't even last that long. So, Phyrexian Arena is always one of those cards nowadays. It's like, might just be a little bit too slow for how even Commander goes nowadays. Chisgoria, Forge Tyrant. Koth, Fire of Resistance. So we got a Mythic and a Rare. Offer Immortality and Gaia's Revenge. Ooh, that's from when I didn't play the game. What is this? Gaia's Revenge can't be countered. Haste can't be the target of non-green spells or abilities from non-green sources. Interesting. I might put that into my Omnath deck. I have a red-green Omnath deck that uses elementals to punch people really hard, so that might go in there. It's a fun deck. Alright. I also really like some of the panoramic... This mountain from the panoramic lands is really nice. Sinew Dancer. Mercurial Spellcaster. So this is one that a lot of people have been talking about. It's a 2/1 that can't be blocked for 2. When you cast a non-creature spell, put an oil counter on Mercurial Spelldancer, and when Mercurial Spelldancer deals combat damage to a player, you may remove 2 oil counters from it. If you do, when you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. A lot of the oil mechanics feel a little clunky to me, and that's just by design. But Mercurial Spelldancer is really good, especially in Commander when you are going to be casting big game-ending spells. Being able to double them is really strong. It's also harder to counter multiple spells or a spell in a copy. I mean, of course, there's things like Flusterstorm, but I would definitely say this for like a game-ending spell. If you're not getting too many counters on it, it'd be great with like Exsanguinate, Torment of Hellfire, things like that. Just fantastic game enders there, and being able to double them is pretty nice. Of course, in blue you can also just twin cast. All right, what have we got here? Unfortunately, that was a little bit of a dud. That's the problem. There's a lot of really good cards in this set, but it's a fairly large set. The good card pulls just get kind of diluted. So sometimes there just isn't something to talk about in here. Geth. You know, I'm going to talk about Geth just because I haven't even read the card yet. Other creatures you control get -1/-1, so he's already hurting your creatures. 3 and tap. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains if this creature would leave the battlefield. Exiles. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, that's not bad. Understandable. I mean, 3 mana just to get anything back from the graveyard. Another set. Or another list card, I mean. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. These lands are really sweet. I really like them. Jorkadine, Cutthroat, and Metathran Elite? Metathran is unblockable as long as it's enchanted. Interesting. I'm going to talk about Throwing Bird here real quick. Throwing Bird's a reprint. This was in the original Scars block. It just has whenever it deals combat damage to a player, proliferate. It's a 1/1 flyer. You know, people kind of talk about power creep and that this card might not be as good anymore. I don't think it's terrible. I mean, it does get you a proliferate trigger. It does have flying. It's 1/1, so it has evasion and whatnot. This art's really nice for it. The step and complete versions of it are like a dime a dozen, so I would probably pick up a couple copies, because if you haven't played around with it, you probably should. But that said, that is 12 boosters. Nothing overly exciting. I mean, I didn't get an Atrax or a Mondrak or an Elish Norn or anything, but I'm going to be making a couple more of these videos, so we are going to test my luck. Until then, y'all have a good one.